Attention seekers.
Attention seekers.
That's kind of scary. But anyway.
It was supposed to be like a cool echo.
Oh, didn't work that way. But we are cool. But we are cool people. And we are Rosie Di Lecce. I'm saying that this time. And...
Rosie Di Lecce.
Yes, exactly. It's two of us. One a male, one a female. Shut up, Nate. Come on. Nate's
Just
trying.
kidding. It's
here with
me. It's
Come
Nate. Hi, guys. What's up?
Hello. Today we are talking serious shit, aren't we?
We're getting very serious. So
Mhm.
last week, you listeners may have remembered that we were looking at things that people often get wrong with social media. And the core thesis of that episode was purpose. People assume that social media is all the same and all exists to for the same reason.
Mm-hmm.
However,
But, yep.
if you think about it like that, you're going to be using the wrong tool to get the job done.
Yes.
Essentially, if, for example, if you're using Facebook to build a cold audience, you're essentially trying to use a hammer when you should be using a screwdriver.
Right. Sounds like
Is that a good metaphor?
I think so.
You like it?
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah, right? I wanted to say, instead of a hammer, a spoon, but screwdriver sounds right.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't
Right.
maybe have a spoon in my toolbox.
You never know.
You know what I mean?
You never know.
Anyway,
Totally
one of the
random.
things that we felt that we wanted to talk more about was the specifics of each of the social media platforms. So today we're going to look at what purposes you should be using different social media platforms for.
Yeah.
So we've got Facebook, we've got LinkedIn, we've got Instagram, we've got YouTube, and your own website.
Yep.
So that's what we're going to be looking at today, is what purpose you should be using each of these different
Or
social
like,
media
what are
platforms
these
for.
platforms good for, and what
What
are
are they good for?
less good for? I wanted to say bad, but you know.
You wanted to say bad?
Yeah.
Good and less good?
Good and less good.
Right.
Sounds very politically correct,
Yeah?
right?
You did open this with a shit.
Yeah, people, if you get offended by cursing, it's not for you. This
great,
podcast
yeah.
is not for you.
We're all the way here on episode 8.
Is it?
Yeah, I know. No,
7.
7.
Seven.
You're
Oh
right,
my
you're right.
God.
So welcome to
Okay.
episode 7. Let's get right into it, shall we?
Yes, Facebook.
So, Facebook, number 1.
Number 1 is very good for, or is very good. It's good for conversion purposes because you can sell directly on it. If you want to, of course, if you have the guts to do it. You know, just bullying you into making conversions now on Facebook. But you can use your content pretty much to generate leads and eventually make sales. And that's something that we see a lot, especially with small businesses. But even like with bigger brands, there are a lot of call to actions, you know, launch of new product. This is it. And then it's on social media. There is a link to it. So it's very, very good for conversions. That's one thing.
Facebook's an excellent platform for, like you were saying, conversions and lead nurturing,
Yep.
because most people have Facebook.
Yes.
You're like, are you on Facebook? Yes, cool, let's add each other.
Yeah.
So if you meet someone or you have a connection with someone, you can say, let's add each other on Facebook, and then they can see your content. And you also have direct access to them as well. So
You can
set-
stalk them on Facebook. No? Okay.
I mean, you can.
You shouldn't.
But you can send people messages directly and be
Yeah.
like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
It's very, you're very connected.
Yeah. You
However-
can get like direct feedback about whatever you're doing in the comments. You know, it's very good for that.
And it feels like a close enough touch
Mm-hmm.
where it's very personable.
Totally agree.
But what Facebook is bad for is building that cold audience. So a cold audience of people who haven't really heard of you. It's
Yep.
unlikely you're going to find people with no connection to you coming to your page
Yep.
or adding you.
Yeah, there is always that 6 degrees of separation kind of theory. Do you know what I mean? Like every time that somebody's connecting with you is because maybe somebody else tagged you in something that they needed, or maybe it's just because you have 200 mutual friends or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you
Lot
know,
of
so
that.
like it's never really cold audience, but it's always because somebody else is in between, let's say.
Have you ever been traveling? Just a little aside. Have you ever been like traveling to different like countries? Yes, of course, an Italian in London.
Yes, right.
Isn't it interesting when you meet someone in the pub and then you're like, oh my goodness, we have 2 mutual friends. How do you know?
Exactly. So
It's happened
random.
to me a few times.
Really? That's creepy anyway.
Is it creepy?
A little bit.
I like it. It's nice. It
Okay.
makes me feel connected. Anyway,
Anyway.
the other bad thing about Facebook is the lead quality.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
lot
All the
of
trolls.
lot of
Yeah.
trolls, a lot of shitters on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
especially for women. Actually,
Yeah.
you find yourself
Nightmare.
suddenly having a lot more friends, but maybe they're too friendly.
You know, actually, what happened to me, talking about this, is going to be like a very short story, but at one point I had this person and he was keep on sending me messages, and every time it would be like, I want to learn about copywriting. I want to learn about this and that. And I would be like, cool, I have a course for it, or I have one-on-one coaching for it. And then every time I would tell him the price, he would just be like, oh no, but that's too much. And then it would disappear. So I would be like, okay, cool, whatever. It's not going to bother me anymore. But then he would always come back till the point that after that, I turned him down eventually a few times. And he complained about my prices being too high. He was actually like, well, so do you have a boyfriend? Can you send me a picture of you?
Smooth.
Man, come on. So yeah, no, bad quality of leads sometimes.
Rosie, this is a podcast about marketing, not dating tips.
That's bad dating anyway. Just anybody who was interested in that.
Conversely, LinkedIn
Yes.
has some very high quality leads.
Yep.
And is a lot better at building a cold audience. What LinkedIn did last year, 2018, was they introduced a hashtagging system.
And it works amazingly.
It works pretty well, far better than the Facebook hashtagging
Mhm.
system. So with LinkedIn, you can follow certain hashtags, and you can also put hashtags in with your post, so that anyone that follows those hashtags will then see, or there's a chance that they'll see the posts that come up. So you can build a cold audience that way. And once you get known for posting in certain hashtags,
Yep.
you can build that authority.
Yeah, and that's definitely key when it comes to LinkedIn, because it's like a professional social media platform, and people just see you then as an authority if you have that kind of quality to it, if you post within the right hashtags, and you get good reach and engagement. Like, kind of goes without saying that you must be some important person in your field in a way, isn't
Wow, a LinkedIn profile? How fancy.
it? Right, exactly.
Joking aside, there is a certain amount of respect that having a good LinkedIn profile commands, as opposed to having a good Facebook profile.
Definitely.
However,
On the other side.
on the other side of things, LinkedIn has a smaller user base.
Yeah.
So there's a chance that not everyone will be on LinkedIn. Or if they are, probably don't go on it that much.
No, exactly. And it's very much, of course, it's very much connected to, working hours, the weekends less active
Yeah,
and all that kind of
exactly.
things. And because, of course, it's a professional platform, you get a lot of people just messaging you with cold pitching and, all those crazy offers and weird research that
Crazy
they're doing.
offers.
Crazy offers brought to you by Rosie and Nate. No, that's our next podcast. No, but that LinkedIn definitely has a disadvantage when it comes to that, because people then really handle it as a proper professional working thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's both an advantage and disadvantage
True.
with how professionally people take it, because there is that
True.
kind of 9 to 5 mentality of,
Yeah.
well, I'm only going to go on there with a purpose, rather than say on Facebook or Instagram, coming up next,
Right.
which is where they'll just browse it casually, maybe on the toilet
When they're
or
bored.
eating breakfast or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
What's that, Nate? Speaking of Instagram,
Speaking of Instagram, what's Instagram good for? So the way that I see it is that Instagram is very good when it comes to brand awareness. And
what do you mean by that?
So what I mean by it is that you have a business, and of course we could say that almost automatically a business is a brand in this modern age. And so people need to be aware of who you are, what you do, and what you stand for. And this works particularly well when it comes to personal branding. And Instagram is very,
What's the
very
difference
good.
between a personal brand and your business brand?
Well, your business brand is of course aimed at letting people know the company, the brand, as in, I don't know now, should I come up with a title, like what is a big brand? I don't know, Innocent. The juices. I love the smoothies.
Oh yeah.
That. So like that's the brand. And when we're talking about personal branding, we're talking about Kim Kardashian. So we're talking about a person. So our brand that actually revolves about one single person. And Instagram is great for that because you see all these, influencers and cool kids that just post their pictures and they just actually build that kind of presence. Goes the same for celebrities and stuff. So it's basically very, very good for that. And it's good to also create that kind of community vibe, isn't it? Because, again, through the hashtags and through the kind of different causes that you can commit to, and the stories, people just get that kind of feeling of, yeah, we're all connected here, we're following you. And
like in terms of values as well, people are like, oh, hustle.
Yeah.
Motivation.
Yeah. Saving the kittens. I love this lady, kitten lady.
It's also growing so quickly.
Yeah.
A lot more people now are like, oh, have you got Instagram?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I do. @NHI.
Yeah. just plugging it there.
Ooh,
Yep.
plug.
Yep.
The big problem with Instagram though is that it's a lot of vanity metrics. So most people care about the number of followers they have rather than the engagement they're getting. Now, what you really need to do is look at how many followers you are and figure out what percentage of those followers are actually engaging with your posts. And Instagram's terrible for that because I think the like follower to like ratio is much, much lower.
Definitely.
And similarly, the lead quality that you'll have is, again, much lower because it's such an open platform, right?
Yeah, it depends, of course, I guess, also on the kind of profile that you have and what you're selling. But definitely when it comes to lead quality is not the best because you do get people that are like, oh, yeah, your feed looks cool. And that's it. They're not really interested in what you're doing.
Bro.
Right, exactly. So whatever. It's not really good for that. Next.
Before we get on, how does the direct messaging system on Instagram?
It's actually quite good. I mean, it depends, of course, how committed businesses to it, but I think that it also works much better than Facebook and LinkedIn because you don't really get cold pitches. You don't get very random. I mean, I do get a couple of trolls here and there, but most of the times it's actually people that are interested and that are connected with you and that they know what you do and they are actually, maybe asking you things about what you've been posting. Or I do the same with, brands that are selling whatever, clothes and jewelry, and I'm like, yeah, I wanna learn more about it. What kind of fabric is that? And I'm just gonna text them random
No,
things.
Rosie, the dating advice podcast is next week. Hey, what kind of fabric is that?
I will hold you to it. But yeah, so it's kind of much more directed to actually having proper answers. So it works best compared to other stuff.
And then we've got the giant that is YouTube.
Right.
Now, I love YouTube. I spend most of my time consuming content on YouTube.
Watching kitten videos?
No. I watch a lot of gaming content. A lot of other people playing video games.
Right.
My girlfriend doesn't get it at all.
Nope.
I don't think no one really understands why you do it. I love it though.
Okay.
And what YouTube is great for is educational content.
Mm-hmm.
So if you type in how to do something, you'll find that YouTube will most likely have the answer for you. My car battery broke the other day. Where did I go? YouTube to figure out how to solve it.
Yep.
Similarly, because it is this great hub of information and owned by Google, your SEO will dramatically increase. And when we say SEO, really what I'm talking about is your digital trail, which means that if people are Googling you, people are searching for you, if you have a few videos on YouTube, it's very likely that you're going to be found.
But then talking about a few videos, on the bad side of YouTube, there is that it requires a lot of work. So just a few videos is not going to be enough because actually you do need to have that kind of consistency with it and tons
quality
of content,
well.
Quality. And just if you really put time in it, that's when you start seeing the results. It's not something that you can do casually. It's not something that you can do just like once a week randomly.
You probably could do it kind of once a week randomly. I think it's as long as you're consistent with it. I mean, the great thing about YouTube compared to the other social medias that we mentioned is that it's got such a longevity to it. You post content on Facebook, it's
gone.
It's gone that day.
Yeah.
LinkedIn has a bit more longevity when it comes to the articles. Instagram, the posts are there forever, but they're drowned out pretty quickly by the other stuff.
Yeah.
With YouTube, if you don't put in the effort and the videos don't stand the test of time, then it's going to reflect poorly on your brand.
Yeah.
Now, there is something to say for the evolution of content, so people can kind of see that your first videos aren't as good as your later videos.
Yeah.
But I don't feel that means that you should just put up shitty content.
No, definitely. I think that goes for any platform, though, isn't it? Like, you should always have a bit more quality, especially if you want to stand out, because there are so many people using any kind of platform.
Come on.
You know?
We've already been going for 16 minutes.
Oh my God. Okay. So
Website.
Okay. What's good about it? SEO purposes, of course, good for ranking in Google, keywords, and all that kind of stuff. It's good for conversions because, if you got a good website, it should also convert for you. That's a fact. And
actually, to be honest with you guys,
yeah,
you should spend most of your websites. Well, it depends on your business, but what you're really looking for your website to do is book a call with you.
Yep.
Or be a lead generation, because the great thing about websites is the cold traffic.
Yes.
But that's also the downside, because you have to put in a lot of thought and strategy if you're going to start getting that traffic coming to your site passively or paying for it.
Yep, totally. And it's also, it just doesn't really serve that purpose when it comes to branding, because you cannot really, you get all kinds of people coming in. It's not necessarily that they have to have a certain connection with you. Maybe they just happen to stumble upon your website. So it's not really the best if you want to build that brand and authority in your field. And what more?
Well, websites are pretty complex.
Yeah, it is.
If you're going to use a Squarespace or a Wix or one of those build your own website platforms, they're fine.
What you got. Yeah.
They're fine. But if you're going to take it seriously, you really need a WordPress site still, just because the amount of options that you have with it are huge. So if you have a WordPress site, you can turn it into like getting membership and people paying for subscriptions. You can use it to host video courses. You can use it as a pure lead page and get people's email addresses. They're so flexible, but with that flexibility comes complexity.
Definitely.
And therefore, you're either going to have to spend a lot of time learning, or you're going to have to hire experts to help you.
Choose the latter, please.
How do we summarize this?
I think that the summary of this is, again, like...
Let's run through them quickly. All right.
Okay.
What's Facebook good for?
Oh my God. Conversions, warm audience, and direct connection with your audience.
And what's it bad for?
Cold audience and lead qualities.
Poor lead quality, and you're not going to find new people for your business through Facebook.
Nope.
Right. LinkedIn. Great for high quality leads, great for building a cold audience, and also really, really builds your authority because you're speaking in a community of other professionals. Now, some of the problems are smaller user base and less frequent users because people aren't really using it casually. There's still that 9 to 5 mentality. And you're pitched a lot.
Too much even. Then there is Instagram, which is good for brand awareness and community building, and it just kind of help to build your brand overall in terms of visual.
Your personal brand, right? So
personal brand,
people getting to know you and your values. It's weird how much stock Instagram users put in what people post. So that's why you see a lot of motivational quotes, is because people are like, oh yeah, you're that kind of person.
Definitely. Bad stuff on Instagram instead is that vanity metrics. So the fact that you have a lot of followers doesn't really mean that you're actually gonna make any money, and that's sad. And of course, again, the quality of the leads is not gonna be necessarily the best. Then you got YouTube, and YouTube is very, very good when it comes to SEO, educational, informational content, and also it's good for the longevity of your content.
Yeah. So if you're producing a lot of good video, then it's gonna stay up there for ages, and you're gonna build that online authority, because anytime someone Googles your name, your YouTube profile is going to come up. However, it is, I mean, when we say it's the highest cost and takes the longest to build, we're talking about if you want to do it properly, right? You can obviously you can have a bad YouTube channel.
Yeah, you can just have it there for the presence. But if you're actually trying to build something with it, you do want to be consistent. You do want to invest more money and have quality in it.
And finally, we've got the website.
Yep, good for SEO, conversions, cold audience, of
Yeah.
course, coming through. And it gives you flexibility to build whatever you want.
But with that comes the complexity and the fact that if you're going to do it properly, you're either going to have to learn a lot or hire an expert. Woo!
And that was it.
We did it.
We did it.
High five.
Yay.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. This one's been a bit longer.
Yeah, but it's okay, guys. Very informative, isn't it?
Very informative, isn't it?
If we're saying so ourselves. If you still have questions, though, and you want to know more about this, please reach out to Rosie at writingwithrosie.com. Say it, Nate.
Rosie at writingwithrosie.com. I said that's Rosie at writingwithrosie.com.
Stop it.
All right, thanks for
Thank you,
listening, guys,
guys.
and we will see you next week.
Bye.